Miami Condo Mondays is a live podcast on the first workday of the week at 4 p.m. South Florida time. The program features former journalist and current Wall Street consultant Peter Zaleski of the Miami Condo Investing Club and former lender and veteran condo broker Jenny Huertas of CVRRealty.com. Recorded weekly in greater downtown Miami, this one-hour discussion will provide a refreshing and sometimes controversial perspective on the state of the South Florida condo market from a pair of seasoned real estate professionals who do not always agree. The program won't tell you what to think about the South Florida condo market, but will give you something to think about before buying, selling, taking listings, or financing units. This podcast is not authorized by the Miami real estate industry and will quite possibly annoy many of its figureheads. Welcome to this week's episode of Miami Condo Mondays, broadcast live on the social media accounts of Peter Zaleski and Jenny Huertas.
Happy Monday, Miami. It's Miami Condo Mondays, a conversation about what's going on in the South Florida condo market of Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. I'm Peter Zaleski, condo consultant, expert witness, founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club, joined here by my partner, my co-host, Jenny Huertas. She's a broker owner of CVR Realty. Make sure you check out her website, CVRRealty.com, especially if you're in vintage condos. She's got a vintage condo team that specializes in going after these units, which typically are about 40% less than what you'll find in the overall marketplace. Jenny, how's it going? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Peter. It's so good here. How are you?
Jenny, I don't know if you know, we got 11 days left in the winter buying season, that ever important time when people come to town for an event. They come here for a vacation, a cruise. They get the bug. They decide to start pursuing a condo. By the time they end up getting it under contract and closing, whether they're paying cash or they're using financing, a lot of times it closes in the summer buying season, Jenny. This is it. This is pretty much the end, a wrap on the shopping season for condos. Jenny, we've gone through 94% of the winter buying season. We got the last 6% left, and after that, Subway, it is gone. Then we get into the heat, the humidity, the hurricane warnings come May. And this year, Jenny, we got FIFA World Cup. We got a June and July. That's followed up by August. Everybody leaves South Florida. They take their kids on vacation, and they get the heck out of here. They go to the Hamptons. They go to North Carolina, Canada, Europe, you name it. Jenny, when they come back for after Labor Day, when they're ready to rock and roll, guess what we're hit with? We're hit with the marketing for the midterm election. We got this big controversial election coming up. There's a lot of contention right now in the United States. Everybody's going to be talking about what's going on politically up in Washington in September, October. We get through to November, and you know what November is? That's the beginning of the winter buying season. Jenny, if you're a seller and you didn't get out, you might be stuck with that damn condo because you want a certain price. You might be stuck to it with it till Thanksgiving, unless you cut your price.
Yeah, I think you have to cut the price, and it's going to be a busy summer for us.
It's going to be a busy summer because those owners who are looking to get out, they got to cut their price. Why would they suddenly cut their price? Well, I'll tell you why. Rising costs of condo living. You got rising maintenance fees. You got special assessments. You got pricey insurance. It's all sort of coming to a head. Plus, you throw in affordability. Jenny, I don't have a car, but gas is north of $4 a gallon. That's a heck of a lot of money. I took an Uber last week. It cost me $25. Normally it's like $12 or $15. It was $25. They're claiming it has to do with what's going on with the Straits of Hormuz, when Donald Trump attacked Iran. The Iranians responded by basically shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the oil going around the world is being impacted by that. Why is it important here? Because interest rates, and oil is traded on a global market. So pricing, there's not much of a difference in there, because if it's cheaper in the United States, you know what's going to happen, Jenny? People are going to buy the United States oil, which is going to jack up the price. And everybody knows capitalism's all about making top dollar. And you know who's not making top dollar right now? People who have to deal with all of these costs, because their salaries aren't going up. Their salaries might be disappearing because of AI and because of affordability and because all of the uncertainty right now. So, Jen, it's a very interesting time, but this is a poor time if you own a condo and you are underwater when it comes to the cost of condo living.
Yes. Therefore, it will attract a different type of buyers. This market is always very resilient. So there would be corporate money would be con, cash buyers would be king, and here we go again. That's what happens in those troubled times. people take advantage.
People take advantage. You want to talk about taking advantage? I listen to BBC World. It's a worldwide news service, and what they're talking about is the Europeans love their football. They love their soccer. Here in Miami, we got Inter Miami. It does what it does, but the Europeans are hardcore. The FIFA World Cup. It's coming to Mexico. It's coming to Canada. It's coming to the United States, and it's coming to Miami. So a lot of developers, from what I hear, they all think that all these buyers are going to come rolling in, and they're going to be going ahead and going to football. They're going to be partying. They're going to be on South Beach. They're going to be in Wynwood. They're going to be all over. And then they're going to be shopping for condos. Jenny, the BBC's reporting, if you were going to take a train in New York from the city out to the stadium, they want $150 round trip for the train. If you take the bus, $80. If you're taking ride sharing like Uber or Lyft, you're probably looking close to $300. Everybody in Europe, according to BBC, they're all complaining that it's price gouging, affordability, all the issues that we're dealing here in the United States. Now it's being dumped on these out-of-towners. Who knows? Some of them are claiming that they're simply going to protest. There's supposedly stories going on about hotels are scrambling because their prices were so high and they're not getting the bookings. And here we are a month out or so, a little bit over a month from the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see what happens because it's totally outrageous. But I know football fans, soccer fans, call it football. They pay anything. It's crazy. They will
$150.
Oh yeah.
The normal price is $12. They're going to bang up for $150 to take a train from New York City over to New Jersey, where the stadium will be. Where the final will be.
Yes, the reason why they would is because it's only 4 years. Every 4 years, their team is playing. I know you're rolling your eyes, but this fun can be crazy. They will probably get a second mortgage in the house in order to pay all these things. It's crazy. I know, but there is people that would, and I think a lot of the developers are counting on like a second mini winter season for the summer, and we'll see what happens. Some of them will give in. I don't know. We'll see.
I will definitely take the under on that. I think this is going to crap out for sellers. It's going to crap out for developers. Jenny, you know who it's crapping out for? A guy called Adam Newman. Adam Newman is this gentleman who built up $1 billion business. He became a billionaire. He set up a company called WeWork. What is WeWork? Well, WeWork's a company where you go in there, you lease some office space, you break it out, you allow people to have co-working space. They can basically rent the desk. They can rent the small little office. They give them some drinks. They'll give free food once a week. There's a conference room. You basically pay as you go. There was a predecessor to that. A lot of people knew it was called Regis. Well, WeWork was technology and sort of a social environment. So Adam Newman had his run. He did what he did. It didn't necessarily end well, but Adam walked away a billionaire. And you know what he's doing now, John? He's a condo developer in South Florida. He's bought in 2 rental buildings that he is converting to condos. He also picked up a piece of dirt on Biscayne in the Little River area up there around 79th Street in Biscayne. He bought a site which is right next to the Big Daddy's liquor store. If anybody knows that, if you ever go north on Biscayne, right before you get to Miami Shores and the road splits, left-hand side, you got a liquor store called Big Daddy's. Right next to that is a piece of dirt that Adam bought. So Jenny, Silicon Valley type of guy, Silicon Valley loves him. So he parachutes into town. He takes down a project over in the Miami World Center, right by where our office is. Our office is across from the Casella Center. A couple blocks due west, you got a building which he renamed Flow House. He goes ahead. He files the paperwork with Tallahassee or Orlando, wherever they handle it for the division of condos, timeshares, and mobile homes. He gets approval for a condominium. He then notifies Tomas Regalado, the property appraiser. They go ahead. They provide folios. Jenny, his project is 466 units. It's rental units. It's in the 600 block of North Miami Avenue. It'll be just south of where you're going to find the Network Access Point of the Americas. Also right across from where the old Miami Arena used to be located. So it's a pretty good location, despite the fact it's located right on the FEC rail tracks. When those trains go into the Port of Miami and they dump off cargo and then they leave with cargo. Besides that, it seems like it's pretty good shape. So, he buys this condo, he files a declaration in October, they begin sales. Jenny, in 6 months, they have sold 58% of the project. You got 466 units, they sold 269 units in 6 months. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah. I know what's going to go next. Keep going.
Well, in order to sell the units, he can't get individual buyers closing on them. I don't know if it's a price thing. I don't know if it's a financing. I don't know what it is. But you know who's buying? Corporate buyers doing bulk deals. Jenny, when's the last time you heard of a bulk deal?
Oh, a long time. Probably 2011, 2012.
Yep. Bulk deals are back, everybody. They're doing bulk deals. They're doing them at Adam Newman's project called Flow House, according to Miami-Dade County Clerk of the Court, as well as public records. Jenny, they did 5 bulk deals in this project. 5. Uno, dos, tres, cinco. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. 5 bulk deals are going on in this brand new condo project called Flow House. What do you make of that?
Yeah, actually, I went to see the project when they started selling as a condo because I knew it was a rental, and I knew that he sold it to an investor. So he sold it to an investor, and the investor, I guess, did the bulk deals, or they sold.
No. He was the investor.
Okay.
He bought it from the original developer, filed paperwork in the state of Florida, put branding on it as Flow House, and now started selling condos and sold 58%, 269 units in 6 months. He started in October, and that's as of last week.
And it had to be at a discount because I remember when I went to the presentation and they say we are the lowest price per square foot in the area in newer construction because it's finished, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be delivered in a month to month. And, but they were not even at, the price is still high. It still was about $950 per square foot. Before was, or around this area, it was around $1,200. So it seemed like a deal, but for individual buyers was not much. So
it was not much for individual buyers. So what they're doing right now is they're marketing, Jenny. And let me tell you what the pitch is. Mm-hmm. Prices are starting at $480,000 a door. Okay. Studios to 2 beds, 466 units, as mentioned. 25 amenity spaces, Jenny. Amenities, 25 of them. A lot of people say amenities are good. I say they're bad because they run up your cost of living. Condo living is very expensive. The more amenities you have, the more your maintenance fee is going to be. Keep in mind, First Service Residential, they came out with a report saying $1.15 a square foot per month, Miami-Dade County to be in a high rise. If you got a lot more amenities, that means your maintenance is going to be higher. And Jenny, here's the kicker. Here's why people are buying into Flow House. 30 monthly events. They put on events, and as a result, you should buy in that condo, and you're going to be able to participate in all those events. What do you say to that, Jen?
Yeah, it's a interesting concept called flow, where you have a sense of community, and then, you can actually meet people, and they have another flow house in different areas, and so you can, it's like a community, and that's a selling point. I'm not sure how popular is that, but at the end of the day, they are sharing the amenities with the rental tower. Like the pools are the same. So I don't know how that works there, but what I know is that they couldn't sell it they still had to sell it for a discount in a bulk because bulk means discount.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about the location. Then we're going to talk about the bulk. So you guys can see here, it's on Flow House. We'll just sort of give you a visual. That's going to be the Port of Miami. This will be the islands, the man-made islands that wealthy people live on. This would be P. Diddy's islands called Star Island. Then you're going to get into the South Beach. You'll have South of Fifth. You got Fisher Island. You got Virginia Key, Brickell Key, where they just blew the heck out of that Mandarin Oriental because they say they're supposedly putting up 2 towers. You're going to have the Brickell Avenue area. You have the Miami River. You got downtown, and you're going to have the Edgewater area, Midtown, and Wynwood. So, Jen, let's just zoom in on this. And what we're going to find is there's a Kaseya Center. This is going to be Bayside. This will be our office. And then as you go a few blocks west, there we go. We can see the Freedom Tower site. Jenny, you go a few blocks west. Right before you get to the Metro Rail station, you're going to run in the Flow House. So, it's in that central business district. It's nowhere near the water. It's kind of shoehorned in. It's hemmed in. The closest probably amenity they would have You can go one way and you end up at Aldi's and Publix and Target where they got a stackable in Overtown, or you go the other way, you got Apple Store, Jen. So that, I guess, is a selling point. As I zoom in here, everybody's going to be able to see we got tracks over here. Those tracks are going to come in here. This will be the Metro Rail station. You're going to have the Brightline station. But here's sort of the site, Jenny. It's on Miami Avenue. This will be the network access point of the Americas. Anybody who knows 11, that's the next project we're going to watch. 11. 2 towers, 1,000 units, named after a cabaret. Do not call it a strip joint. The 11. 2 towers, 1,000 units. Don't call it a strip joint. It is a cabaret. So that's going to be going up right over here. But let's go back to Mr. Newman's site here. Here we go. This is an old map, obviously.
That site is next to the park. The rental building is facing the Apple Store.
Yep,
but
that'll be on the east side, east side of the property.
Side. And in the other side is facing a vacant lot, which is going to be in the future another tower. So,
but keep in mind,
west.
But keep in mind, this site here that you're talking about is vacant. This used to be the Miami Arena. This is where the Miami Heat played. This is where the Florida Panthers played. They then left. The Miami Heat went over the Kaseya Center. They went east. They wanted better location. No, it was a handout. And then the Panthers, they moved up to Broward. Broward County brought them up to Sunrise in and around the Sawgrass Mall. So at one point, Jenny, they considered this to be a Miami Marlins stadium site. And most recent was they were talking about a convention center complex with hotels. Hotels, why? Because we got all the train connections right here.
Yeah.
So at some point, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll be in the money with Flowhouse because it's going to be right by the so-called convention center, whenever that happens. Jenny, Flowhouse, they're allowing 12 rentals a year, 30-day increments, if you will. How does that sound, generally speaking?
Yeah, that's the model of most of these buildings in Miami World Center. They were all of them like short-term rentals allowed. Some of them 1 month, like this one, 30 days, or some of them daily. But that's what they are hoping for. So we have a lot of those towers coming in, deliver soon. We already have some of them delivered. So now we start seeing how really the prices are going to be after they close. Some of them are cheaper than they were when they closed. So which is something that I really, like my buyers are waiting for, getting some sort of 20% less in the price that the previous buyer paid for it, and then take advantage of that and pay cash. So that would be another play for that area. But yeah, those 5, I didn't know there were 5 until you put the report that there were 5, like little blocks of condos at the Flowhouse. Therefore, he was able to unload most.
Well, he sold them in blocks of 11 or in as much as 25.
Okay.
So 5 different series of bulk deals. Bulk is traditionally 5 deals or more, 10 units or more considered a bulk. So he did 5 of these from 11 to 25 units, each of them, for a grand total of about 82 units, Jenny. They've sold 269 units thus far. 82 went in bulk out of these 5 bulk deals, representing about 30% of all of the sales. What's also interesting, too, is if you look at people buying more than one, they were buying them in pairs. 8 different buying groups bought a pair of condos in Flowhouse. So if we run through all the numbers, what we're going to find, Jenny, corporate owners who are not having their own name on the property, they're going to represent 91% of all sales. Individuals represent 9% of all sales. Out of 269 sales, 9% are individuals. The rest are all corporate entities.
Yeah. So basically what he did was flipping it. He flipped it.
He's flipping it, but typically when you buy more than one, let's say you guys go to 7-Eleven. Go to 7-Eleven, you buy a bottle of water. It's maybe $1.50 now because of inflation. You go to Costco and you buy water. You go to Walmart and buy water. You're not paying $1.50 a bottle. You're typically paying about 75 cents a bottle or so, just ballparking it. So typically when you buy more of something, you get a cheaper price. Jenny, if you're going into a condo and a bunch of corporate buyers have purchased at discounted pricing, By the way, everybody, we have the pricing. We're not going to share it with you. If you want consulting, give us a call or join the club, Miami Condo Investing Club, miamicondo.club. So Jenny, typically when you buy more of anything, you get a cheaper price.
Yeah. That's why it's bulk, and that's the price is cheaper than with